Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to the start of another week on the channel. We're getting closer to Christmas. Weather-wise, it's a funny colour out there, and that's why we've got this funny colour. I've put the light on and it didn't work, so we've got it in this sort of glow today. Anyway, what are we going to kick off this week with? Well, this is someone that I ranked. Well, I ranked the band he was in ages ago, and I've ranked Helios Creed, and I totally forgot about Damon Edge. I was going through my book, and I thought, oh, we haven't done Damon's solo stuff, so that's what we're doing today. His real name is Thomas Edward Weiss, but professionally known as Damon Edge. American musician, founding member of Chrome, and recorded as a solo artist. He started working at MGM and jamming with other musicians to create film soundtracks, and then when he recorded with Chrome, and then he left, and then in the 80s he moved to France. Didn't make too many albums. There's 4 that we know of, and there's one that he was working on, sadly, when he passed away. Very sad death. He was found dead in his apartment in California. Apparently he'd been there for about a month, which is very, very sad. I know it's very, very, very sad what happened to him. You know, he had a breakup with his wife, and he began to drink and smoke heavily. It's just sorry, very, very sorry what happened to him. And he'd finished a new solo album in Germany. Now, I don't think this has been, I don't know if it's out there somewhere, but this all happened in 1995. Okay, so he did release 4 albums, so we're going to have a look at those albums today. So coming in at number 4 is his debut album from 1985, Alliance. Now, there are so many people playing on these albums. I'm not going to go through them all. We'll be here forevermore. So the first track on this one is called Blue Nights. It's very Chrome, of course it would be, but it's also got little bits of the things that you'd expect in soundtracks. You know, he worked at MGM, so he was into this sort of making these sounds. It's quite an interesting track, that's what I'll say. I'm a Gentleman comes next. This one is very interesting, again, very repetitive, but it has got some nice sound effects on it. It's got that typical sort of Chrome way of singing, bit off key, but it all works in the big picture. When I'm Not Alone, some more different sounds. I'm not so keen on this one, but you've just got to appreciate and understand what he was. He was quite a clever chap, what sounds he could make. Then we get Why Not Give Me Your Next Trance. Very short sort of track. Great bass notes on this. Pretty good. Then we have Alliance of Hearts. One of them quirky little Damon Edge vocals on this. Very strange. But I think because I've, discovering Chrome and their concept and Helios Creed, you sort of, now when I listen to it, it's not as bad. I mean, I hadn't listened to any of these for a little while, so I had put them on, and I thought, yeah, I get this. Even though it's not, on the top of my list, but I get where he's coming from. Then we have Angel Fire, which is my favourite track on here. It's very Gary Newman, I think. Sounds interesting, really good. Then we get Coming to La Mer, to a World Left Behind. Too long, it's 13 minutes long. it loses itself so many times. It's one of them tracks where you could have cut it by at least 7 or 8 minutes. It's not that brilliant. Rhapsody in Maroon is, well, I don't know if it's a take on Rhapsody in Blue. It's weird, it's enjoyable, some very nice echo piano on it, pretty good. That was the last track. It's not a bad album, but it's that long track that really, if it had been shorter, or splitting it up, because it seems like it's 3 songs just thrown together like hammering bits of hammer and nails and bits of wood together. There's no structure. I think if it had split it into 3 separate tracks, it may have been better. But I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, coming in number 3, got the second album, also from 1985, The Wind Is Talking. First track on this one is called I Don't Know Why. Really good bass line. It's a little bit electronic post-punk, as I call this one. Good track, I do like it. It is my favourite one on this album. Way Down the Road with a Motor at My Head. Dominated by a great bass line. A mean drum machine program on this. Very basic, but it does the job. Exploring, and then you, in brackets, shake. I don't like this. The drum machine is far too fast, and it seems like the rest of the track is playing catch up. It doesn't sound right. Don't Ask Me. Now this is an interesting intro, quite eerie, and then the ambient sounds and that bass line is very good. It's very short, but it's got a very eerie vocal from Damon. Circle of Time. The vocal performance on this is very good. It's got these eerie, daunting, sultry vocalist sounds. Musically, it's very good. Some nice keyboard swells throughout this track. Then we have a track called The Wind Is Talking of Planets of Sea and Sun. Again, a little bit too long. This is only 8 minutes, but there's some really nice tones on this. But it does lose its sort of structure. It goes off into little tangents, and then it just comes back in at a weird sound. Then we have The Wind Is Talking of Planets, Sea and Sun Part 2. I think this is the better of the two. It's more structured. It's not as long. It's a bit more moody and got more body to it. Okay, that was the last track on that one. Much improved on the debut album. Getting stronger. Some really nice tracks on here. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 2, we've got his third album, Grand Visions, from 1986. It's just a very smaller band this time. We've got on bass Bab, drums Plume, Damon doing keyboards and vocals, and guitar Remy de Villa. First track on here is called That's Okay For Me. Very sort of 80s pop sound this is, new wave. You know, that sort of sound from Visage and them sort of bands. Pretty good, I like that track. Then we have a track called In the Light Fields. Interesting track, very melodic. The drum machine sounds pretty good. And there's some nice sort of changes in the tempo on them drum machines on that. And then Anna, this is very mainstream for Damon Edge. I've never heard him do anything so mainstream. The best track on the album as well. It's got some nice tones, some nice little bit of guitar pieces in that. Very good little track. It's 7 minutes long, but it flows really well. Then we have No Reason to Leave from the Sun. This could have been mainstream as well. It's a shame it didn't go into the charts. It's just very, very good. Like the bass beat, it could have competed with any of the pop songs of the time. The Android Stroll, lovely guitar tones on this. The keyboards work well. The vocals are just Damon style, but very good. There's no difference for me or for you and me. Very short, quirky piece, doesn't last very long. Then we have a Grand Vision. It's a little bit flat for me, bit of a filler. It doesn't do much. On the whole, very good album. It's certainly started to develop that sound. Having these musicians in, these permanent sort of musicians, very good. Quite like listening to this one, so I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. So the number one for me is his last album from 1987 called The Surreal Rock. He's got Bab on bass again, Plume on drums, and Remy on the guitar, and synthesizers and guitars and vocals by Damon. The first track on this one is called Coming Through For You. Again, I really like the bass line on this. This guitar from Remy is excellent, very good. It's got that little electronic feel to it, and a good vocal from Damon. And my favourite track on this one is called I'm Not a Loner, and I'll probably say it's my favourite track by Damon Edge as a solo. Love the bass going. It's got a really nice riff on it, a little post-punk in there as well, which is pretty good. Then You Know That My Heart Is True. This has got a great bass line from Bab, wherever Bab is. I've got the drum sounds good. It's a very good sound on it. Bit more strict structure, a little bit more depth. Having a real bass player and a drum, really good. Surreal, Real Soon. Nice structure. The guitar work on this is really good. Great vocal from Damon. He's really improving on his singing on this album. We Are Not Dying. Electronic drum beat that really works well with the rest of the instruments. Some nice guitar again on this track. Then we have a track called The Sight to See. Lots of big noises on here and sounds. It's okay. I Found Us a Home. This could have been actually released as a single thing. It's about that. It's about 3 minutes 44. Very commercial and a great track to end the album. I really enjoyed this album. I'm ashamed it's his last, because I'd love to know what he was working on before he passed away. The musicians are good. He just got better with each album coming out, and it'd been interesting to see what would have happened with this album that we don't know about. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.3. So there we go. We finally do clear up the Chrome offshoots. Can't believe I missed this one out. It's been sitting there for months. I think it's because it's right at the bottom of the page, and I forgot, you forget things at the bottom of the page. Anyway, coming up next is a classic album, and for the first time ever, we're going to feature the Grateful Dead on the channel, and we're going to look at their classic album, American Beauty. So join me for that later. Bye for now.